Good morning and welcome to another weekly review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we need to get through our obligatory risk disclosure before we begin our weekly review session for this coming week. So let's go ahead and take a look at our risk disclosure. Just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the charts here. We're going to go ahead and start off with the gold chart here, and we're going to start off with the monthly chart just to kind of get a sense of exactly kind of what the general context of the market is. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll shift our attention now. We'll move over to our platform here. Okay, so here we you can see here, looking at the monthly chart, we've been I guess to some degree, in some sort of range in an otherwise a bullish trend. Okay, so over the last, say, this is the 5-minute chart. Sorry, let's actually move to the correct chart. Move over to the monthly chart. You can see that we continue to make some serious advances here in this market. Okay, continue to making some new highs. So bullish trend remains quite strong. Okay, on the monthly chart. Moving down to the weekly chart. Okay, let's see. We're just going to go ahead and zoom in on these candles here a little bit. All right. So looking at the weekly chart, we've been in some sort of we were in some sort of range since, I say, probably late April here. We closed the week with a new close, a new high. Okay, in this market at 3508.7. So again, all indications that we are in a very healthy trend to the upside. We'll just take a peek here at the daily. We'll do a little bit of maybe some volume analysis here, but I think the thing that I wanted to kind of call out here is that the fact that we have broken above this area of consolidation. Okay, we were working this this ascending wedge pattern. Okay, you can see here we were kind of working this kind of pattern here. Okay, and now we have closed above this pattern in a significant way. Okay, so quite a bit of momentum has come in over the course of the last few days to drive price above an area around 34.75. Okay, and then above the psychological level of 3,500 to the upside. Okay, so I would say that headed into the week, that we continue to show indications that we are in a healthy structure here to the upside. Now, just kind of maybe take a peek here, maybe at this most recent advance here, just to get a sense of exactly where this current swing could go from a Fibonacci perspective. If I take a look at the Fibonacci extension tool here and just kind of take a look at this swing and take a look at this low, well, we've already reached the 61.8% extension of this swing. Okay, based on this move, okay, we're looking at the possibility of reaching 3,700. 3,700, nice round psychological number for the markets here. So again, with 3,700 in the toe here, we have I guess a target over the next few weeks, possibly days. Okay, of reaching those levels here. Okay, just to kind of give a sense of how long it took us to go from 3,000 up to let's see, 3,500. Okay, in this one swing. Well, over the course of 2 weeks we managed to make. I'm not suggesting that we necessarily uh, uh, reach that level in that kind of time frame, but we are on the path to. Okay, so let's do a little say volume analysis here. We'll take a look at sort of the past week of price action, and we're going to go ahead and start from Friday to Friday here. Okay, so we'll locate. Let's see, we got this here. Okay, this is Friday to Friday. Okay, so you can see with that with this close that we managed to break above this value range here to the upside. Again, giving us the indication that we are in a very healthy structure here to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and well, actually, is this? Just got to double check here to see I have my VWAP open here. Yeah, I sure do. Okay. So you can see that we're not only above the 9 EMA, we're also above the VWAP. I don't know if it's probably something that probably need to color here a little bit different here just to make it a little bit more visible here. So we'll change that to a blue color here so we can see that's indeed bullish. Okay, that's above here. So let's see if I can move this off so I don't. Okay, so yeah, you can see that we are above VWAP, okay, in a healthy structure to the upside. So as I mentioned, I think headed into the week, I would say that we are in a strong bullish trend in the market, and the fact that we've broken some daily levels, which requires quite a bit of momentum to take place, we could be in store for maybe a nice leg higher in this market. All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look at the crude oil market. We're going to focus our attention on crude oil here. Again, similar kind of thing. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the monthly chart, get a sense for what the monthly chart is doing. And looking at the monthly chart, you can see that we continue to be in some sort of bear side structure here to the downside. Now, if I add a little bit of context here over the course of maybe back in 2020, you can see that we are inside that swing. But over the course of, say, since the last 3 years, okay, we've been in some sort of downside structure in this market. Okay, and the most current candle is also giving us the same sense that really we're really looking to continue the path of lower prices in this market. Now, looking at the monthly chart, I don't see anything that would stand necessarily in the way of us potentially at some point reaching as low as $40 in this market. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the monthly chart. We're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the weekly chart and get a sense of what the weekly chart is telling us here. Okay, so you can see again, we have again continued to make lower lows and lower highs in this market. We have a very strong a bearish engulfing candle, and really honestly have not been able to make any sort of headway in moving this market higher. Now, I would say that this 60 level is an area to keep an eye on. Okay, if we manage to hold above it, that could potentially, at least on the weekly chart, offer us maybe a little bit of a respite on this current move lower. Okay, so I would say 60, 61 is the most current level here to keep an eye on. And then ultimately, I would say down around the 56, 55 level would be the next kind of logical area to keep in focus. Okay, so all indications right now, you see that our candles are below our 9 EMA. Our weekly chart, I believe, is also below our VWAP. It'll become a little bit clearer when we move down to our daily chart, but we continue to be in a structure that continues to show signs of weakness here. Okay, so if I draw my line here, you can see, oh, that's not what I wanted to move. Okay, so you can see that we have a trend line or trend that is continuing to slope lower. Okay, so giving us the indication that we are very much inside some bearish structure or bearish trend. Moving down to the daily chart. Okay, we're going to kind of zoom in on this a little bit, just trying to see exactly which side of this VWAP we're in. And we did indeed close the day below VWAP. Okay, we're just kind of hugging the edge of the 9 EMA. Okay, and creating some sort of consolidation pattern here. Okay, I can see that we are developing some sort of consolidation pattern. a little bit of maybe some balanced price action that's taking place in this market. And while I don't know exactly which direction of the market, given the fact that we are continuing to create maybe some structure here to the downside, the magnitude of this move is going to be somewhere in the order of say mm, 3 points, okay, 3 full points in this market. So this could potentially lead us to maybe a little bit more of a retracement back up to say the 66.50 level, or it could cause us to make our way back to this maybe a retest of this 61.63 level. So again, headed into the markets, even though we are seeing maybe a little bit of a reaction here off of the demand level, my view of the market still remains to the bearish side, mainly as a result of what I'm seeing here here on this swing to the downside. We haven't really broken I would say any sort of significant structure that would lead to me to believe that we are in some sort of structure that would lead maybe for prices to head higher here. Okay, right now we are in some sort of consolidation range, so that's something maybe that we will probably be in maybe for a little bit before we make that decision, or before participants decide on which direction they want to take this market. All right, let's go ahead now and move on to the equity markets. Again, I think we had a little bit of a move here on Friday, so we'll take a look on the grander scheme of things. What does that all mean? Okay, so looking at the monthly chart, we are seeing a little bit of indecision here up at the highs, okay, over the last couple of months. Okay, so we had a little bit of an indecision candle. We're currently developing, actually, this is the close of the August month, quite an indecisive candle here. Okay, so might be some indications that maybe there is some potential weakness in the market. Maybe this set of candles maybe has the potential. We'll find out later today as we open the new month what kind of monthly candle do we begin to develop here. But nonetheless, we still remain in some sort of bullish structure, showing maybe some signs here of late of some weakness. Okay, moving into the weekly chart. So looking at the weekly chart, you can see again that there's a little bit of a kind of rounding kind of top that we're developing here. We had a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern, but not really necessarily accepting lower prices here. We still remain above our 9 EMA, and price seems to be right on or if on top of our VWAP. Okay, and we've had a couple of weeks here now of some bearish price action. Still have not broken below, I would say, a weekly level here is around, say, looks like, let's call it 22,770, okay, or 22,780. As long as we remain above this, obviously we will remain in some sort of bullish structure. Okay, right now we're seeing some signs that there is some interest, okay, in this market on the dip. On any dip. Now the question is now it's going to become, can we get above 24,000? That's kind of the line in the sand that I guess have developed here of late. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this area above here as a potential area of some resistance to price. If we are unable to make a new high and get above 24,000, then that we could be in for maybe a potential move to the downside. I would say that the first stop obviously is this 22,800 level that we've already kind of identified. And if we do manage to get below that, then I don't really see any reason why this market can't maybe come back down to say, let's identify this level here, 22,300. Okay, would be a logical extension of this move should we get below, say, 22,900. Okay, let's just call it that, 22,000. If we did manage to get below 22,900, I would say that there's really nothing that stands in the way of maybe revisiting this past area of resistance that maybe will serve as support here over the coming weeks. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Looking at the daily chart again, you can see that we've developed a little bit of appears to be some sort of kind of triangle pattern here. Okay, of late. So we can see here that we've kind of developing a little bit of a pattern here, a little bit of a balance area, really not understanding exactly which direction they want to take the market. I would say that given the fact that we had this kind of bearish engulfing candle in this market, that could lead us to maybe a continuation, certainly at least down to this 23,200 level before we maybe potentially continue this pattern back to the other side of this balance range. So headed into the session, I would say that we're probably neutral to bearish, I would say, in this market. I do see that we are in some sort of consolidation range, developing some price action that would indicate that maybe we are going to revisit maybe this 23,200 level before we make maybe another leg before we decide to break the level in one way or the other. Okay, so let's now go ahead and take a look at the ES here. All right, look at the S&P again along the same kind of lines. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the monthly chart here. And again, you can see closed the month, I would say, rather strong. Obviously, NQ or NASDAQ closed here with some weakness. So this candle seems a little bit more decisive here to the upside. Again, if I did a little bit of a Fibonacci analysis on this kind of move here, it does appear that maybe the ES is showing a bit more strength than say the NASDAQ here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and kind of, oops, that's our fixed range volume profile. What I wanted to bring up is our trend-based tool. Okay, so if I take this move to this high, back to this low, well, you can see that we've broken above the 61.8% extension of this swing. The 7,000 level seems to be a target for this potential swing. Okay, ES in comparison to the NASDAQ is showing a fair amount of more strength here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly chart here. So looking at the weekly here, you can see that we remain steadily above this area here. We did close the week a little bit with a little bit of an indecisive candle here. It did end up becoming bearish, but a little bit of an indecision in this candle here. Okay, so we closed the week a little bit on weakness. Okay, again, still continue to show signs of strength, or actually show signs that we are inside some bearish structure. Really haven't broken any structure here to the downside, although we are getting maybe some indications of some maybe indecision in the markets. Moving down to the daily here. Okay, we're gonna, again, you can see that we are developing some sort of pattern here, some sort of triangle consolidation pattern here. Now, is this an indication of maybe some weakness in the markets that could maybe cause the markets to fail at these levels? Okay, if so, then I would say that the logical destination would be back down to at least initially 6,400 level and potentially down to this 6,300 level. Okay, first stop would be 6,400. Next stop, if we do manage to get below 6,400, is this 6,300 level. Okay, so again, similar to what we were saying with the NASDAQ, I think is holding true for the S&P. It does appear that we are in some sort of consolidation balancing pattern here up at the highs. Now the question becomes, I think, heading into the week, I would say that we have a reasonable, certainly a more than reasonable chance of maybe revisiting, say, the 6,400 level. Okay, before we continue this kind of balancing pattern that we've seen of late as we head into the week. Okay, so headed into the week, I would say probably again similar to the NASDAQ. I'm gonna also say neutral to bearish. Okay, initially. Because I do see that we closed the week here with a bearish engulfing candle. And if I do a little bit of a volume profile analysis here for the past week, let's see where that puts us here. We did manage to close above, okay, but immediately closed back inside the balance range, okay, indicating that there was not any acceptance of higher pricing in this market and that we could be in for maybe a leg lower, okay. The next logical level for me in this market, if I'm bullish, is that I would not like to price to close below, let's say 64.13, okay, 64.14. That would be certainly would not want to see it close below 6,400. Okay, otherwise it opens up the possibility maybe for a further downside move in this market. All right. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the last market for this session, and that is the Dow. We're going to go through the same time frames here. Again, just to give us some context of what the market is trying to accomplish here. You can see here that we are breaking some monthly levels. Okay, this is showing some strength. Okay, so of the three markets so far, I'm seeing that the strongest of the three seems to be the Dow. Of the three markets, we saw some weakness in the Nasdaq, kind of a little bit more of a rounding top, maybe a little bit of indecision here on the monthly chart, but we did close the month creating some new highs. Okay, and if I take a look at volume, it was closed with increasing volume here, 145,000 contracts to the buy side over the sell side. Okay, so strong indications of further upside opportunities in this market. Taking a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, again, you can see that we are creating some higher highs and higher lows. We are well above our 9 EMA. We are above our VWAP, and we've broken some structure here to the left. Okay, this 45,000 level that was bearish, was a resistance. Okay, so we've come and broken above, and now we've tested that level, and we found some additional buying. So market continues to show signs of strength. Looking at the daily chart, we are in some, we closed the week inside, okay, creating some sort of a ascending wedge pattern here. I do see that we are creating an ascending wedge, so we'll go ahead and identify that. This is the wedge that I'm looking at here. So we seem to have some sort of resistance level here now over the last few days here around 45,776 or 775. But we haven't really made any sort of significant inroads into this candle. Now, we closed maybe approximately probably 50% of this current candle, but have not been able to close inside or below that, indicating that there's still a fair amount of strength in this market. So of the three markets, I would say that the Dow appears to be the strongest of the three. I would say that headed into this session, I'm looking maybe a little bit more bullish on the Dow. Okay, headed into the week. All right, so let's take a just kind of summarizing our view here across all these markets. Okay, we'll go ahead and remove this down here and open up the gold across the daily charts and kind of get a sense of what we're trying to accomplish here. So let's open this up here, and then we'll take a look at the daily. All right, so daily, okay, again, breaking some daily levels. Indicating that there is some strength behind this move. Participants are showing that the market is quite bullish. So I would say that headed into the week, I remain bullish in the gold market. All right, looking at the crude oil, I would say it's probably more neutral to bearish. Okay, so we again are in a balanced zone here around the 64 level. Really not understanding exactly which direction that they want to take this market, but I would say headed into the market, I would say I'm neutral to bearish. Nasdaq, okay, I would say when I was looking at it earlier, it seemed to be the weakest of the three markets. Okay, we are seeing some signs that maybe we are headed into maybe another potential leg, seeing it's that we are struggling a little bit to get above the 24,000 level. So I would say that in the Nasdaq, I'm neutral to bearish. Okay, and then looking at the last couple of markets, we'll take a look here. Is the S&P? S&P also giving the sign a little bit similar look and feel as the Nasdaq. Okay, also showing signs that maybe we are in some sort of neutral to potentially bearish kind of price action in this market, and then ultimately. The Dow, okay, of all the markets here, including, is also probably showing the most, I would say, most strength of the three markets, okay, especially on the higher time frame. We are breaking some new levels. We broke on the daily side. We broke above this 45,310 level. We made some attempts to maybe retest some of the conviction of these levels, and we found some additional buying. So I would say that around this 45,300 level, that I would be interested maybe in taking the Dow further to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for you for this week of review. As we close this session and other sessions, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader.